That series came about. I had several meetings with Jeff Sagansky. They would throw out what they were looking for, and I would throw out what I was looking to write, and we kind of found a middle ground. I think they responded to the idea of a small town with a cauldron of characters in a more rural setting, because Northern Exposure was working for him at the time. Because the television climate at that time, networks were gravitating toward urban shows and cosmopolitan shows, shows that took place in the heartland. I don't think were as much in demand, but CBS was having some success with Northern Exposure. It made them predisposed to take a look at this venue, and wrote the script for that, and the response was very good for the script. And unlike Doogie, that was one where the network almost did throw a parade and say, okay, let's make this, and off we went. The germ of the idea, and it was and I didn't pitch it because I knew I wouldn't be able to successfully pitch it. I couldn't with them, so I won't be able to with you here. I said, I'm just going to write this and show you, but what I'm going for is to take a story or a plot line and play it through several different prisms. I want to play it through the police arena, through the legal arena, through the township at large, and then ultimately through the nuclear family. So you would take an event or an idea, and you would mine it through this cauldron of characters or franchises, all within one show. I think if I had tried to pitch that, they might have scratched their head and said, no, I'm not so sure. But when I gave them the script, I think what they got is they got the characters, which ultimately is the calling card for any series. They wanted to learn more about these people. They wanted to spend more time with the family and the police officers and this crazy lawyer. And that's the best calling card that any pilot can establish, is you extend an invitation to your audience or reader, meet these people. And when they meet these people, if they want to get to know them better and spend more time with them, that's usually a good sign. That's kind of what happened with Picket Fences. The tone was offbeat. It had dark comedy to it, but it also had straight dramatic storytelling as well. It was a juxtaposition of different tones, and we had a willingness to shift tones. And the one thing that we tried to do, though, is never shift tones that took you out of the dramatic through line. We would allow our audience to laugh at a situation, but we would not want them to then trivialize the underlying dramatic point that was causing them to laugh. And that was tricky. That was always a bit of a tight walk. And you would try and get it on the page. Sometimes you got it on the page, but tonally it would be missed on stage or on film, and you'd go back and you'd have to redo. We did a lot of reshooting on Picket Fences because the tone was very, very tricky. And if it dipped over, okay, this is a straight comedy, we're not asking you to accept these dramatic tenets, then we'd missed. We had to go back and sort of do a course correction. We did a lot of reshooting on that show. I think one of the best, one of the things that I had to learn is to be able to see things on the page, so I could anticipate that this was tonally very tricky. Because you got better at recognizing your missteps, and you knew where you could sort of trip. And if the sooner you could anticipate that, and if you could anticipate it on the script level, you'd save yourself a lot of time and money. So we got better at it as we went along. But part of the fun and the joy of that show was taking creative risks where you could get your nose bloodied, but if you got it right, you'd maybe get something special.